should recognize Somaliland.
miyaad maqashay Somaliland?
Have you heard of Somaliland?
Sidii dal madax
It
bannaan
has
u
been de
shaqaynaysa
facto
in ka badan
independent
30
for
sano
30 years,
ayuu yidhi Trump
and they have taken great strides to pursue democracy, free speech, and free market ideas. Because of this, the U.S. should recognize Somaliland as an independent country. In practice, the territory is not now, nor is likely to be a part of Somalia. Acknowledging that reality would allow Washington to create more effective policy in an important and contested region. In addition, a strong relationship with an independent Somaliland could potentially benefit the U.S. as we try to hedge against Chinese influence.
And the Somalilanders are very keen to be recognised in the international community, and they have been taking many steps to try and encourage that, not least a recent memorandum of understanding with the Ethiopian government about giving them access and development of the port of Berberus, which is potentially going to be a bigger port than Djibouti and will be very important in the whole Gulf of Aden region. And that memorandum of understanding is being pursued at pace now, including many Somaliland British residents who are legal experts who are part of it, who we met on our recent trip. And the conditions of that MOU is that Ethiopia, if it's successful, will recognise formally Somaliland and will have access to the port and a naval base near it as well. And I think that could be a very important turning point for the way the world looks at Somaliland. But it's become fairly topical now because of what's going on the other side of the Red Sea with Yemen and the influence of the Houthis on shipping going through that very important and very busy waterway. So for us to have allies and stable allies in the Horn of Africa is of particular importance and attraction to the UK, the USA, and European allies as well. So hence, we want to start the ball rolling by our government taking Somaliland rather more seriously. It's so far declined to recognise Somaliland as the independent republic that it wants to be, and it's also failed to recognise the Memorandum of Understanding, even though it is with a very large economic player in that part of Africa that could be particularly game-changing for Somaliland and also very, very important to Ethiopia itself, who is another important ally in the region. So I very easily, in a very short space of time, got 15 colleagues from and there are others since we submitted this from the SNP in particular. So it's been supported by Labour, Conservative, SNP, DUP, Lib Dem colleagues across the board. This isn't a partisan issue at all. And we are keen that it will be on a substantive motion. The fairly raw motion that I put down is a starter for 10, but the government may get slightly alarmed at that, so we'd be prepared possibly to negotiate on a requesting the government to set out a timetable and criteria for the recognition of Somaliland, if that wouldn't frighten the horses quite so much. But ideally, would like to have something that will send a clear signal that we think Somaliland should be taken seriously, and the UK, as the former protectorate, has a very key role to play in that. So, and there's also a large Somaliland community in the UK, spread across particular cities like Cardiff, Birmingham. Everybody we met in Somaliland seemed to come from Birmingham, and Liverpool, and other parts of the UK. So there's a substantial part of the population with links to Somaliland.
Can I just ask you, what's the status of Somaliland in the Commonwealth? Presumably it's not recognised as a state, so it's not part of the Commonwealth.
It's not recognised by the UN, by the Commonwealth, or other international authorities. It has diplomatic relations with Taiwan, and potentially full recognition with Ethiopia, depending on the outcome of the MOU.